What is going on, guys? It's me. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my technique on doing the kind of Skrillex-y type vocal chord for like future bass. And so this is going to be that. And so I'm going to be putting on my headphones. All right, so without further ado, we're going to switch over to Ableton, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what needs to be done. So this is a project that I have that's just kind of, it's a song I've been working on that I probably will release at some point, but I thought this would be a great template to show you guys one of the main ways that I do to create that kind of Skrillex-y sound with the vocal chords in a drop. So I'll just play you guys a song from here. So you guys pretty much get it. So what I'm going to be showing you guys exactly is going to be this section right here called vocal chords. And this is what it sounds like. So one important thing to mention before I start explaining like what the vocal chords exactly do, it's important to know that to make this sound or to make similar sounds to like what Skrillex does and other future bass artists is combining this technique of adding vocals to a chord stack, but also using other synths and stuff as well. So if you listen to just like that on its own, doesn't sound totally full, but if I go under the synths group right here and I just play that, you can see I have a synth back there. And also the sub is doing a lot of the heavy lifting too, creating the specific feel for the sound. That kind of melody is pretty deep in there. So I'll show you guys what I did. So this is the vocal chord stack right here. I have two main things going on. And then this little reverse. I use this group to kind of mix these two sounds together. So this is the first sound right here. And how I made that was from, let me see if I can find, if I can make the sample whole. That's what it sounds like. Obviously that's like with all the post-processing and stuff on. And then the second layer is this thing. And how I made that is I used this resonator, which I pitched to the key of the song. And the particular preset I'm using is Paris. I put a vocoder on it, but then I turned it off because I decided it sounded better without it. This plugin that I have on here is something that I use a lot. It's this Auburn Sounds Gralion. Basically, this is a free version of it. There's if you upgrade to the full version, you get like a pitch modulation software too, but this mostly is just for pitch shifting. I use this for, so basically it's pitching the entire sound down by 12 tones. So this is what it sounds. It sounds like on the same level as the other sound. So putting this on here, that kind of gives it a little bit of a lower sound so that it can kind of sit better in the mix. So then I put a chorus on that, and then I have my main bass rack, which is just a rack I use for almost every sound. It has a camel crusher. This one's set to tube warmth. Excuse me. Then we have an erosion where the frickin' noise is up there, and then an OTT, and then an EQ, getting out some of the harsh frequencies. Sorry. And then a shaper box. This is to just give it a little sidechain rhythm. Without it, it sounds like this. Which has a kind of a cool different feel to it. So I'll show you guys a different way to do this without a shaper box that gives a cool different sound. Another way to do it would be to just use auto pan. Sounds almost identical, but I just use shaper box because I have a little bit better control over it. And then I just have an auto filter on top of that, but that is not modulating anything because this is in a group. So if I go under the effects for the main boy, I have a phaser, I have a vocoder, which is doing a lot. It's on 40 bands, and then the format's pretty high, and the release is down a lot, and the depth is up. But it's not all the way wet. So if I put all the way wet, it sounds not good. But if I turn all the way dry, it loses some of that kind of liquidy kind of sound. And then this, I have the same thing as the other one, except it's pitched up instead of down. So it just makes it sound more high pitched. Then I have a chorus, and then I have a camel crusher set to ultra fat, then an OTT, and then EQ. This one I don't have the shaper box on, just to give it more of kind of a sharper, like it cuts through a little bit more than the other sound. And then both of those are processed together with another fat rack, which has another camel crusher, OTT, and then a little bit of reverb. And it has a gate also to stop any of the resonating frequencies from just kind of carrying on after the song has been played. That's actually a really good tip I would give to new producers, is that the gate plugin is a very powerful plugin if you use it correctly, especially if you're sampling or creating vocal tracks or things like that. If you use the gate and you set it to the correct settings, it actually helps you out a lot with getting rid of a lot of sound that you don't want. So that's just a little tip. I will go probably into more detail with the gate plugin at a different time. But for now, it's just the vocal cords. So that's how that whole thing sounds. And then that combined with this synth, it just adds more, it fills up space. So as you can tell, the kind of chord progression in the actual chords isn't that apparent until you add the 808. And I'll show you a quick tip on what I like to do with my 808s and subs. For this track, I have an EQ, obviously, just kind of taking out some of the unnecessary frequencies. And then I always add a saturator on top and use that to kind of beef up the sound. So right now I have it on analog clip, but most of the times I set it to sinoid fold, so you can kind of hear how that sounds when I turn the bass down. It gets way more chunky. And then I have my drums. And then we have the percussion, which is pretty basic. I just have this little tom thing here. I just added that little hi-hat thing for that with a kick. So that's just kind of some of the elements that help kind of bring out that sound, that particular sound. Of course, this is just kind of like my style of doing this. Don't copy me or else I will sue you. But these are just some, some cool tips. I usually do it between 140 and 160 BPM. And then I usually pick kind of a choppy kind of chord progression. In this case, that's even more choppy than I usually do it. It's usually something that's like 8th notes or even 16th notes, depending on what BPM you're at. But it would be kind of a different style, different kind of deeper future-based style to do like longer notes, I would say. And then obviously having this 808 is that kind of, it's also that kind of style to have the 808 actually go long through the choppy chords, because it kind of gives it a different feeling than say if I throw a shaper box on there and I throw on a sidechain. That actually sounds pretty sick. I actually, you know what, I might actually keep it like that. Yeah, that's pretty tight. I am going to go ahead and save that project. So let me know if you guys thought that this was useful, or if you think that I am absolute trash and I should delete all my files. Go ahead and like the video if you haven't already. It helps me out and it also helps you out, because then you're able to just go through your liked videos folder and just find this one and watch it 20 times. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.